Alright, so now I can go do that. Portraits unlocked.
The book's pages fluttered to the beginning once again. Faster than before? And he fell. The clouds parted over the Isles of Boreas. It was time to choose. The rebellion was in trouble. Ravens were scouting for the secret rebel base. They needed a game changer. Pieces of the Sky Ripper had surfaced. Renato knew that using it could go catastrophically wrong. But he was sure he could figure out how to use it safely. Also, a temple had risen out of empty desert. The Iblis Stone was hidden there. It was a dangerous artifact. It could corrupt its user into a bloodthirsty monster. Maybe he could find a way to use it, to take its power without surrendering to its wickedness. And also, his old friend Lapino needed rescuing. Of course, Renato had a pretty strong suspicion that Lapino had betrayed the rebellion, and he had a gut feeling that he needed to use that to his advantage.
So that's what I have to do. Alright, let's do that.
Renato finally realized that Lapino was a traitor to the cause, and maybe Renato could use that somehow.
What to do with the knowledge about Lapino's treason? Renato would be foolish to trust Lapino again. He should confront him, or better yet, find a way to use the traitor against his new master, the Emperor. Maybe Lapino could be a game changer after all. Who knows, maybe Lapino's treason was all just a fluke, due to unfortunate circumstances. Yes, that's right. Renato should just rescue his friend and forget everything bad had ever happened.
Renato couldn't quite put his paw on when he'd realized Lapino was working for the Empire. He'd never exactly seen Lapino sending coded messages to the palace, but he was sure. The rabbit had been on too many disastrous missions where he was the only survivor, or where he accidentally missed getting on the boat that went down to the abyss in flames. If Renato could prevent Lapino from getting back to the fleet with all the intelligence he'd probably gathered, it might be worth the trip. How had they come to this? They'd been on so many adventures together. Lapino had talked Renato out of prison at least 4 times, and Renato had rescued Lapino from at least 2 lynch mobs. A crafting bench. Renato wondered what he could make with it.
Alright, let's max this out. There we go. Also, like 3 levels to use. I don't ever need to open a chest again.
He'd always felt that the rabbit resented him. Lapino was hilarious because he was so down on himself and everyone else. But behind the laughs, he wasn't a happy camper. Ooh, was this payback? Or did the Empire have his little white tail in a vice? Hey, is there a word for a lot of ravens? Like a doofus of ravens?
Never been here. Yeah, stop breaking boxes. It's gonna be slow. I need to do stuff. Need to explore, find the pages.
If he ever had a castle, he was going to hide his stuff better.
Ow. Oh, where does this go? You know, I only ever come to this mission, this area, during this mission, so... That's why I haven't explored this place. Every other area I explored like 3 times, probably.
Ravens were landing everywhere from dropships. He'd better get moving. If they got to Lapino first, the rabbit would give the Empire all the intelligence he'd been stealing from the rebellion, and they'd probably give him a medal.
That's getting
He'd have
far.
to be very careful about how he played Lapino. At the slightest hint of danger, the mad rabbit would take off like a rabbit.
Haven't you always wanted to do that?
It's getting me so far ahead. Oh, scroll here. Dear Zenobia, how are you enjoying the academy? New friends must already be flocking around you, no doubt. Here in the palace, things are the same. I have much time to dedicate to my special hobby. I've been collaborating with Professor Calaveras and his team of experts to investigate the nature of the islands. My gut is telling me that the islands are alive. I think they have a will of their own. Do you hear me, daughter? Our world could be more than floating masses of rock and water. Professor Calaveras and his boys have made measurements. The islands are drifting, surrounded by the endless sky. It is difficult to notice, but through careful measurements of the wind over long periods of time, they are certain the islands are moving westward. But where to? It may take centuries, millennia, to reach the destination. I have this strange idea. What if the islands are some sort of herd, and that they are deliberately searching for another herd of islands? Can you imagine new islands with their own inhabitants? The thought that we may not be alone. If only I could live long enough to witness the event. With love, Father. I can't, like, backtrack, can I?
Lapino would betray
Nope.
him. The core was dangerous. Renato had a fleeting idea that the two ideas went together somehow. And then it was gone again. Ah, damn ideas. They never stuck around when you needed them.
I'm probably not gonna get all achievements on this game. I looked through some of them, and yeah, some of them don't look good to
Bloody
look very
and
grindy to
exhausted,
do.
Renato finally reached Lapino. The rabbit was practicing shuffling his favorite deck. Now that he knew what the rabbit was, there were a few things about him that Renato didn't find so amusing anymore. You sent me an urgent message saying that you're in danger. Oh, I am. The Ravens are coming. Now, I got a clever plan to kidnap Zenobia. Renato wanted to clap shackles on the rabbit and shout, "You're a traitor, and I'm not falling for it." But if there was one thing Renato was sure of, it was that the core of the Sky River was dangerous mostly to its user. If he could put it in the Emperor's hands, old Isengrim III might blow himself and his fleet up with it. Yes, that was it.
Huh? What? Neither of them have a key. No, I'm supposed to use him, right? So let's get him to fetch the core.
Renato felt like a real hero, brave and smart. He told the rabbit all about the Sky Ripper's God's Eye core. "I'll go get the core while you attack Zenobia," he told the rabbit. "Wait, I've an even better idea. I'll get the core and you attack Zenobia," said the rabbit. "Right, yeah, that is better," agreed Renato. "Perfect. The traitor would make sure the Emperor got the core. Now Renato just needed the Emperor to use the core. If he could only get something that the Emperor wanted very badly. Zenobia. He could save her and bait the Emperor at the same time. Right. Now, all Renato had to do was fight his way through Zenobia's invading troops, sneak onto her ship and into her bedroom, and kidnap her without any of her dozens of guards alerting her. Then, he would rely on her love for him to convince her how evil her father was, so she'd run away with him instead of going back to her father, who was going to blow himself up. It did sound a little risky. But Renato had a feeling it would work out somehow. It always did.
I guess I should be going for options that show up on the past stuff that you learned. I don't even know if I'm just gonna do all the stories at this point. It's getting a bit repetitive at this point. Just going through these levels. It's like I'm just going through these levels as fast as I can now. Just kind of to finish this last thing. I'm just ignoring everything because I have everything done. Other than the scrolls, but I don't know where they are.
He needed some way to break the ice with this wall, so to speak. Renato was halfway to Zenobia's encampment when Lapino showed up. He was disheveled and distraught. They jumped us. I barely got away. Oh, they got the core. Oh, it was all going according to plan, thought Renato. Now he just needed Zenobia on his side. Yes, that was even better. The Iblis Stone. Zenobia could get it. And then the Emperor would have to pursue them. Wait. No. The gem would corrupt anyone, even her. That's it, he thought. Even Lapino. Even though Lapino was already a traitor. It would turn him against his secret master, the Emperor. He would try to make himself Emperor. And the Emperor would have to defend himself with the core.
What?
Boom. He was a super genius.
No. Well, send him, but...
This is terrible, Renato told
It's gonna be super powerful, right?
If only I had gone for the Iblis Stone. But now it's lost in enemy territory. He handed Lapino a map. It gives the bearer so much power. We can only hope the Emperor never finds it. What was that? Said Lapino. I think someone's following us. I didn't hear anything. Rabbit ears. You go on ahead. I'll check it out. And with that, Lapino hopped off with the map.
Oh my god, I have so many dashes, I just realized.
Oh, good! I need a new rug for my nest, said the lead raven.
Oh, so many dashes. Oh my god. So nice.
Renato slinked through Zenobia's ship, making no sound at all. She was curled up on her bed. He'd forgotten how beautiful she was, how sleek, how soft. He tapped her on the shoulder with his sword. She was made of smoke, and he noticed he had a very solid blade to his throat. Did you really think you could capture me? Purred a familiar voice. I just wanted to chat, said Renato. Did you ever wonder why the Emperor adopted you? He needs a sacrifice. Someone who truly loves him, to make a bargain with the lost gods. That's a vicious lie. He wants to bring them back. That's crazy. Why would anyone... They could make him immortal. An eater of souls. And with that, her eyes widened. She understood. Renato told her how he had rescued a priest whose order had been massacred. How he had slept in a burnt village. At midnight, the Emperor's victims had come to him in his dreams to tell him of the hideous, eldritch rituals they'd been sacrificed in. He could still see those kittens and puppies. Their wide, sad eyes, their moist noses. You can't prove that. I've got a witness at the observatory.
Here's the witness.
He couldn't tell her,
Calavera?
not yet, why he was really here. He didn't want her to be anywhere near the fleet when her father blew himself and Lupino up. So he told her about how the Emperor's obscene rituals had raised ancient artifacts out of the land. How he'd followed the appalling trail of the hideous horrors His Majesty had perpetrated for the sake of his own immortality. Any of this ring a bell? He said. He told me it was all lies. You've always known when I was lying. I always hated that about you, said Renato. The rebellion had started after atrocities that the Empire hushed up. Renato had rescued a priest whose order had been massacred for one book. He had slept in a burnt village. Dead kittens and puppies had come to tell him what the Emperor had done to them.
I forget if I went this way. Could I not open this before?
That is a very cool sword, thought Renato.
happened?
No, seriously. He couldn't feel his paw anymore.
What actually happened here? Maybe I should try the ice sword. Oh no, I did go to this one before.
Chill out.
Oh, a read. At school, we learned the gospel of the transcendent emperor, the last divinity to pierce the skies. He would banish the evil old gods and grant us the gift of time. But could one man, divine as he may be, create something as intricate as time? I have my own theory. I believe that time is a symptom, rather than a gift. I am convinced that, on a cosmic scale, there is a pendulum motion between order and chaos. The transcendent emperor ended chaos and started the age we live in, an age of cause and effect, of fact and logic. Time is merely the tapestry upon which these laws manifest themselves. It is the foundation of order's companion, entropy. But in the age of chaos, when the old gods reign, perception carries more weight than facts. Emotions can shape worlds, and time ceases to exist. The age of order is ending. I am merely helping the inevitable. Entropy has been broken. Fate has been breached. The end of time is coming, and I shall embrace it. The Emperor, Secret Journal. And I'm back here. Okay.
Don't you think I'd know if my father started practicing black magic? Why? Would you join in? No! I'd destroy his books and I'd... Oh, God. Okay, you're not completely wrong. They've resurrected one of his victims. Well, look, I mean, look, it's not exactly alive, but it can talk. A true witness, she said. There was an engraving. Maximum capacity, 130 people.
It's a lot of people for this small platform. I feel like 20 people, maybe.
These were no
Ouch.
ordinary cannonballs. For one thing, ordinary cannonballs were black.
Hmm? What? Ow. Just murder everything. Guess we're going back down.
The observatory was a burning hulk. Dead scientists and black feathers everywhere. The Ravens had taken special care to burn the reanimated witness to cinders. Zenobia stared at the carnage. He didn't want me to hear the witness, did he? I guess not. What's your plan? She asked. So, Renato explained his brilliant gambit. Sending Lapino to get the Iblis Stone, become super powerful and corrupted, provoke the Emperor into using the core against him, thus blowing up both of them, and hopefully the fleet too. Let me visit your council, she said, shaken. I want to help. Could he really trust her?
Well, it's the second option. Renato's plan worked. Zenobia was now convinced her father was mad and had to be stopped, but it seemed too easy. Did he really convince her, or was she playing him like a fiddle? Why hesitate now? He should tell her the exact location of the secret base and meet her there. He should lie about the location of the secret base just to be safe. She can come.
He'd done it. He'd made Zenobia see how evil her father really was. He wished she didn't feel this urge to join in the rebellion. After all, he'd taken care of the Emperor, right? Yeah, but she'd always been conscientious like that. She told him she had to go somewhere first. So Renato gave her the location of the secret base, and they agreed to meet in the ruins. He had a very good feeling about this.
Did I mess up?
What had Zenobia gone off to do? What was more important than meeting the rebel council? Had he made a mistake, sending her to the ruins? No. He knew they could trust each other. He could trust her because she never broke her word. And she could trust him because she could see right through him. Well, she'd probably be there well before him. She at least didn't have to fight her way through rainstorms of ravens.
Well then. I almost died.
He missed her. Not Zenobia. Hypatia, the kid's mother. Renato had never thought he'd date a librarian. He'd always figured himself for the barmaid type. But then, he'd never figured the library of Ubar would have comic books, or that Hypatia would know anything about them. He missed her. Renato checked to make sure his sword was still working. Yep.
Okay, I've been all over here. I can just go, I think.
As he came around the bend, there was Lupino, unconscious on the side of the path. And Renato could smell a familiar, sweet, smoky scent. Who? Zenobia. It had to be. She never used a combat spell when she could use drowsy gas. That meant she had the Iblis Stone. What would it do to her? She hated her father now. She'd kill him for sure. The council wouldn't mind if she killed the Emperor, but murdering her father would destroy her. He had to get to whatever ledge she was on and talk her down from it.
I don't know. There's not much to say.
Who are you looking at?
Ow.
Oh, right. No one.
Not much to say,
Long
because
stairs.
it's just going through this
He
level
was
again.
close to the rebel base. Nothing was on fire. So far, so good.
Just trying to rush through this as fast as I can. Because there's nothing really to say.
Everyone in the council chamber was dead. Zenobia stood shivering in the courtyard, drenched in blood. Why? He managed. They started arguing with me. I lost my temper and I wanted their blood. Well, not me. The stone did. Why did you take it from Lupino? I had a plan. You had a stupid plan, she said. I'm going to go kill my father now. No, you can't. You'll just take his place. You'll become worse than him. Get out of my way, or I'll kill you too.
Obviously the second one.
You won't kill me, he said. And I won't let you kill the Emperor. Enraged, she raised the sword. You hate him too? He could sense the Iblis Stone, yearning for his death. But she didn't strike. If you kill him, he'll destroy you. I know you. Shut up! She shouted, her sword trembling. I won't lose you again. Not for anything. Get away from me, he said, and he was very close. I can't lose you again. And he was in reach of her sword now. I hate him! I hate you too! I love you, he said for the very first time. And then she was weeping. He was holding her. The sword had dropped from her hand. He glanced at the Iblis Stone. It was no longer the black of the void. It looked like coal. No. It glowed, like a cinder. It was crackling, burning, crumbling into ashes. You've always loved me, haven't you? She said. She was weak. The stone had taken so much from her. Always, he said. She staggered as he helped her up. Let me take you away. Where? The island of Avalon. The sisters will heal you. He'll follow us. Then we need the Farfarer, the fastest ship in the Empire. The Empire had seized his ship. They'd have to take it back.
Like, if I were to go through all of these all the endings, it means I'd have to go through all of these levels like 20 times. I've done it like 6 times already now. It's already getting kind of boring. A bit too repetitive.
Ooh, the portal led right into the middle of the fleet. It was a glaring weakness in the defense. Zenobia was in no shape to fight. But he'd never fought so well. He wasn't fighting for money or loot or a cause. He was fighting for her. For them. His sword danced, his feet flew, and the ravens recoiled from his ferocity. Oh, this really didn't have much in the way of safety features, did it?
Sword's very good for building up a combo. Very fast.
And there it was, his beautiful skycraft, the Farfarer. They would fare very far indeed, beyond the Empire, beyond the reach of the Empire, to the mystical island of Avalon. He didn't know exactly where it was, but he knew he could find it. And they would find peace there. Second star on the right, and straight on till morning, laughed Zenobia. And they laughed together for the first time in a long time.
No, I missed it.
Welcome to Earth. Renato told the corpses. It was something he'd seen in a play once.
Have you ever felt you were just going round in circles? Bernardo felt like that.
Yep. Yep. Just constantly doing the same thing over and over. Oh, lost my combo. Sad. $4,000 experience.
But they did not go unnoticed. Scout ships lifted off, and a long lance of the Imperial flagship. Bernardo turned downwind to gain speed. The Raven ships could pursue, but they couldn't close. The Far Speaker croaked, "You return her and live!" "Go sacrifice yourself," yelled Bernardo. "Then you won't have her either." On the flagship, the Emperor was readying some arcane weapon. It couldn't be. It was the core. A devastating beam lanced out of the flagship. Bernardo zigzagged wildly to keep the Farfarer out of it. Now the Raven scout ships were closing the distance. and the beam was getting closer too. Then came a blinding flash, and the air was searingly hot all around him. There was a thunderous, deafening roar. He could smell burnt oak and burnt feathers and burnt flesh. But when he could hear and see again, they were alive and unhurt. And they were alone in the sky. Zenobia embraced him. They had done it. Through luck and through love, they had won the war.
Well, huh?
Avalon, here we come.
What happened?
He said as he held her arms wide in the prow of the boat and let her feel its speed. Maybe the real Avalon is wherever we're together, she said. And so, after a bit of an argument, Reynardo and Zenobia went to one of the two Avalons. The one shrouded in mists, or the one in their hearts. But which one they went to, I'll never tell. He'd done it. He'd forged his own destiny. Well, he hadn't actually done it, but he knew what he would do. Reynardo smiled at the book. He practically wanted to kiss it. The kid's sacrifice hadn't been in vain. He'd saved the book and saved the world. Reynardo owed him and his mother so much. Reynardo lowered the mainsail and let the Farfarer shoot forward in the breeze. Second star to the right, and straight on till morning. This time, he would win.
Alright, so that was Stories, The Path of Destinies. I am not doing all of the endings because I'm actually getting sick of this game. Just because of how repetitive it became. So that's basically my major gripe with this game. It's just, it forces you into the same scenarios, the same maps. You're basically doing the same thing, going the same paths almost every single time. And yeah, you just keep doing that over and over. That's why I kind of just rushed the ending there. The true ending. So, because it was just getting very repetitive and I kind of was done with this game. Like, the combat's okay, but it felt very Assassin's Creed where you just counter and then just murder everything. Like, there were some interesting enemies, like the shields kind of stopped you from doing that, but then you get the shield break and they're just a regular enemy again. Early on, the mages were kind of annoying because you couldn't just one-shot everything. The buffers were a bit annoying eventually, but you just kind of focus them down and then you're good. What else? The exploders, suicide exploders, they were just kind of there. You just touch them once and then you can just leave them alone most of the time. The game wasn't hard at all. The story was done in an interesting way, to be honest. Like, sure, it's a time loop where you can go through all the paths of and all the dialogue choices or whatever. Like, go through all the choices that led to the endings. But it going back is, yeah. I mean, I guess it was pretty interesting in that, but it just got too repetitive. Like, maybe if there was different maps or something, but... And the achievements are just grindy, all this stuff is just very grindy. Like, it's fine going through it like twice, maybe 3 times, but the amount of... I did it like 6 times and I got really bored. Just repeating it over and over. Combat was fine. Okay. What's Omen's side, actually?
Harbinger,
Oh, this is a different game altogether.
your presence is the sign of the darkest of times. Vera.
Okay. This is
I'll
a trailer
protect her
for
from the
another game
void.
that they made, I guess.
Her soul has vanished.
It's also really loud.
Her connection with the world beyond ours shattered. Unaware of the impending doom, they fight a war that's already lost. Blinded. The hungry beast is growing. Only Vera can put an end to it. The eyes and the sword of the Tree of Life. You must find her soul. The fate of Euralia rests upon you. Today might be the end of the world. But for you, the day begins anew.
Oh, so that's one of their other games, I guess. Anyways, back to this. What was I talking about? Right, the story. The story was like... It was confusing until you went through a few endings, I guess. I liked how the story was told, like by the narrator and stuff. And then you had the choices, but it's just... The gameplay was just boring, eventually. Like, the gameplay was okay. But... It just got too repetitive. The sound was alright. Music was good. I don't know. I did like the style of the game, like the graphics and stuff. Yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about it. Because it's kind of top-down, you can't really look around too easily. But a lot of it was nice, I guess. Just, some places... meh. And the map design, I disliked the map design. Like the level design. It was just like, there's so many places you can go. Like, you can't really explore, it's very linear. But when you had an option to choose a path, it did not let you go back to choose the other path. A lot of the time. It was just really annoying, because like those doors were always there. It would skip you forward after you finished it. I mean, sometimes it would put you back where the door was, but often it would skip you past it. And sometimes when there was like two paths anyways, it would not let you go back, and yeah, that was kind of eh. Especially when the other path was just like a chest.
The clouds parted over the Isles of Boreas.
Don't
It
think
was
there's
time to choose.
much else. Oh right,
The
the
rebellion
weapons.
was in trouble. Ravens were scouting for the secret rebel base.
All the weapons.
They
I
needed
need
a
to
game
stop
changer.
talking first.
Pieces of the Sky Ripper had surfaced. Renata knew that using it could go catastrophically wrong. But he was sure he could figure out how to use it safely. Also, a temple had risen out of empty desert. The Iblis Stone was hidden there. It was a dangerous artifact.
I
It could
can't
corrupt
skip
its
this.
user into a bloodthirsty monster. Maybe he could find a way to use it. To take its power without surrendering to its wickedness. And also, his old friend Lapino needed rescuing. Of course, Renato had a pretty strong suspicion that Lapino had betrayed the rebellion. And he had a gut feeling that he needed to use that to his advantage.
Alright. I'll just go into this.
Renato finally
quick.
realized that Lapino was a traitor to the cause.
And maybe Renato could use that somehow.
Renato couldn't quite put his paw on when he'd realized Lapino was working for the Empire. He'd never exactly seen Lapino sending coded messages to the palace, but he was sure The rabbit had been on too many
can't
disastrous
skip this.
missions where he was the only survivor, or where he accidentally missed getting on the boat that went down to the abyss in flames.
Trying to talk.
If Renato could prevent Lapino from getting back to the fleet with all the intelligence he'd probably gathered, it might be worth the trip.
Alright, weapons.
How had they come to this? They'd been on
just
so
go
many
back.
adventures together.
Oh,
Lapino had talked Renato out of prison at least
Alright,
4 times.
weapons.
And Renato had rescued Lapino from at least 2 lynch mobs.
So, weapons did not make a difference. To be honest, I felt like the Void Blade did the least amount of damage when I was hitting stuff. I don't know why. Hero Sword. Very good. Good if you're bad at the game, basically. It's a very good, I don't know what to say, like leeway, because you can heal off it. Which is good. Firestorm is good for AoE. Winter Throne, I didn't really use it. And Void Blade is insanely good at late game when you have the upgrades. Gems. Gems are completely useless, except for this. Shieldbreaker is the best gem out of everything here. Why are these useless? Attack speed you don't need. Crit chance you don't need. Well, maybe early game you might need crit chance. Physical resistance you do not need, because you're not going to get hit almost ever. Same with spell resistance, you shouldn't get hit. Treasure Hunter is actually... no one knows what it does. And energy on kill is only good late. Basically when you're combined with your one-shot ability. I don't know if I have anything else to say. Like, if you just pay attention, you should never get hit.
It was tempting to just stand on the device and let it do all the killing for him. But
But he'd always felt that the rabbit resented him. Lapino was hilarious because he was so down on himself and everyone else. But behind the laughs, he wasn't a happy camper.
Like, I never
Oh,
opened
was
this
it
before.
payback? Or did the Empire have his little white tail in a vice?
Because the game never actually put you into this level, except for this one chapter.
What was behind that door? Renato's nose told him there was treasure there. They must have forgotten it in a hurry. Surely they wouldn't mind if he helped himself to it. After all, they wouldn't even know.
Like, these chests are completely useless after you get all the runes. And there's way more doors than runes, I think. Where am I supposed to go? I want to go to the level up station so I can see my
he
abilities.
could learn new skills.
Oh, right here.
If only he'd take the time to figure out which.
Okay, dash is super useful. Good for getting across places. Like, I like the skill tree, but look, I've finished the game. Kind of. And I've only half of it unlocked, I guess. You do not need any of the health. I don't know why this is here. I guess in case you're struggling with combat. Stamina, I didn't need either. I just kind of had it. Time, I don't actually know what it did. It doesn't sound that good though. I mean, this was... I don't even know if it did anything to counter damage. Like, I did like the skill tree, but... it took too long to level up for some of the useful abilities, I think. I did like how you needed the truths to unlock the next tiers. To kind of like prevent people from just going down a tree and murdering everything. But yeah, I don't think I have anything else to say. Like this game's top down, it's... There's a lot of places you can't just straight up enter. Or go to. I didn't mean to do that. Like, the breakable boxes are nice for health and stuff. This thing I didn't actually like, this floaty orb thing. The teleports were nice, but I kind of got lost when I got teleported. Because, like, I don't know if I teleport forward or back with these, and it just teleported you all over the map, and I like knowing where I am, basically. The enemies are all pretty easy to kill. The eyes are kind of annoying, but kind of just deal with it. Gathering the ores was a bit annoying to do. I don't think there's anything else I have to say about this game. Yeah, I don't think so. Anyways. I guess I'm pretty much done. That was Stories: The Path of Destinies. Yeah, and I'm done.